Do you want to get better at sniping in Blackout? Well, you've come to the right place. I have 10 great tips to share with you today about sniping in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout. Hello and welcome. I am Amedeo602, and if this is your first time on the channel and you want to improve at Call of Duty, start now by subscribing and ringing the notification bell so you don't miss out on tips, tricks, and tactics to make you a better player. The first tip I have for you today: sniping is really hard. Before you can become an effective sniper, you need to be effective with the other weapons first. This means assault rifles and SMGs primarily. You also need to be very comfortable with the Blackout map. Once you feel like you have a good grasp of the basics, it's time to move on to actual sniping. We're not going to start against real players though. Practicing against bots is something that I still do to this day, and there's absolutely no shame in doing that. The zombies mode, if you're into zombies, is great too. Pick up a sniper rifle and just go to town. Something else you can do is play custom games either alone or with friends in Blackout. One really good way to gauge bullet drop in Blackout is to drop into a custom game by yourself and just shoot at a car. You'll get a hit marker when you hit the car, so just aim slightly above it and see how far above it you have to aim to stop getting hit markers. After getting comfortable with the sniper rifles against bots or zombies, then it's time to drop into a real game. My next tip is to learn to gauge your connection while you're in the Blackout game. And what I mean by this is sometimes you'll shoot at people who aren't even moving and you can't even get a hit marker. Well, this is connection based. And if this is happening to you, what I would recommend doing is switching out to an assault rifle, or simply just trying to avoid the player that you can't hit. And this isn't unique to Blackout either. If you've played any amount of multiplayer in Call of Duty in the past, you'll know that in some lobbies, there are some players that are just more difficult to hit. And this is really just a connection advantage or a disadvantage. Learning how to compensate for your connection disadvantage is a huge part of learning how to get better at the game and take your game to the next level. My fourth tip is to only use the sniper rifles when it makes sense. For example, when I play Alcatraz, I almost never pick up a sniper rifle, and that's simply because the map isn't conducive to the sniping playstyle. In regular Blackout, if the game is going to end in the desert or at the very top of the map, then sure, I'd love to have a sniper rifle for that. But if the game is going to end, say, in the middle of train station, well, a sniper rifle just simply doesn't make any sense. So be smart about when you're using the sniper rifle and when you're not. My next tip is to stick to the edge of the storm, and this is not specific to sniping. This is just a good general strategy. And it's even more important in sniping because that maximizes the distance between you and the enemy. Be sure to keep a close watch behind you so no one can sneak up behind you. And if possible, stick to the skinny part of the storm instead of the fat part. Unless, of course, you're going for a high kill gameplay, in which case the fat part is usually much better. My next tip is to try to mask your shots whenever possible. And what I mean by that is that if it's very quiet in the area, and there's a shot that you could take, but you're not 100% sure about it, don't take that shot. But if it's loud and there's other fighting and there are grenades going off and all sorts of other chaos, then go ahead and try to take the shot, because it's less likely that anyone will figure out your position. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to keep ourselves concealed so that nobody knows where we are. This leads into my next tip, which is to listen for other snipers. The sniper rifles in this game make a very distinct sound, and it's usually pretty easy to pick out who's using a paladin. This becomes much easier with a headset. Once you've determined the approximate location of an enemy sniper, then it's up to you to decide whether to try to kill them or just avoid them altogether. In a lot of cases, you can actually sneak up pretty close to them from behind because they'll be focused on things that are far away. And if you're not quite sure of their location, remember to use your equipment like sensor darts and hawks. If the snipers are very far away from you, a good strategy can be to try to lure them to shoot at you. Now, before you say, "That's a crazy idea," think about it this way. If they're far away from you, there's a good chance another team is close to that sniper. And if you can get that sniper to give away his position by shooting at you, then there's a good chance that that other team will take out the sniper. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. There are a couple of really good ways to lure enemies to shoot you to. Usually the most effective is the simplest thing. Just have a player break cover and start sprinting and sliding and running away. As long as you can run perpendicular to the sniper, there's very little chance that they can hit you unless they're very good. And on the off chance that the player who's the bait gets downed, it's good to have a teammate with a smoke grenade handy just in case. If no one's willing to go out and be the bait themselves, you can also offer a piece of equipment to the enemy sniper to try to lure him into shooting it. Of course, I'd hate to waste a good sensor dart on this, but if the situation calls for it and you have an extra, go for it. Tip number 9 is to know the one-hit kill areas. If the enemy's wearing level 3 armor, forget about it. You're not going to get a one-shot kill even to the head. Other than that, the Paladin should be a one-shot kill to the head, even with a trauma kit equipped. Unfortunately, the Koshka and the Outlaw, if the enemy has activated a trauma kit, are not able to do enough damage to one-shot an enemy even to the head. To learn more tips about sniping in Blackout, click on this video right now. It's got 30 great tips explaining how you can improve your sniping. And to learn more Call of Duty tips, tricks, and tactics, remember to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.